Ah, hello there, how you doing? Hope you're having a great day. It's the 25th of November 2022. Today, where it is where you are too, I've got no idea, but I hope it's a really nice day for you there. My name is Paul Murphy. I say this all the time, but I know I'm telling you what you already know, because if this does appear on YouTube, the title bar will say Paul Murphy, I don't know, waffles on inanely. Paul Murphy searches vainly for a full stop or a point to his conversation. I could go on forever like those. Anyway, the point of this video is that I thought you've got far too much spare time on your hands. No, that's all right. My latest and anagrammatically probably est last book has just been, we always say that, don't we, but I mean, in 3 o'clock this morning I got a ping through on my computer, and I had a look and it said, "You're ugly, you have no friends." It's a very vicious computer. And it said Amazon, your book has been approved by Amazon. It's taken them a few days. They don't like the fact that I don't use their cover creator too much, and I tend to make my own covers with my own writing on and stuff. Anyway, the point of it is, this is my promo of it, I guess, but also just talking about it. It's called Any Last Words, and I'll skip over that. The title is both clever and poignant. Those of you who know certain things about me know. Yeah, so they've had it for a few days now, and but they finally approved it last night. It's available on them. I don't have a copy of it because obviously it's and it went live on their site yesterday. I suppose I could do this. Got the computer set up here. I'm currently uploading videos to YouTube as well. Talk about multitasking. Talk about working like a dog right to the very end. I mean, I should report myself to the Red Cross or the International Committee of no, the battery's nearly flat. In more ways than one, people. To the United Nations or something. Cruelty to dying Irishmen. Well, anyway, so I don't know if I can see this. So, I do apologise for this, but the viewfinder, I can never get used to it on this camera here. The viewfinder works backwards, but, so there we go, that's what the cover looks like. And the only reason I'm showing you that is A, because you know what it looks like, but I must check the promo blurb on it actually. But this is the, I'm so sorry. They're yours. The joke there being, I'm so short-sighted I thought someone was there. But that is the original cover artwork done by my absolutely super, mega, ultra talented son, Dylan, who's not only all those things, but he's a... I wiped the smile off my own face, didn't I? Got to paint it back on. You think I should have played the Joker in the Batman movies? He's a great human being, and so is my daughter. Hi guys, how you doing? My amazing daughter Emily, who did one of the pictures for the back cover, but it never came off. I've treated the picture there to make it just a little bit more arty, I guess, but there you've seen the original in there. If this video goes up there, it will stay hopefully online forever. His name is Dylan Murphy, and get your commissions in there because he's just phenomenal. His covers, his artwork's on several covers to my book actually, which I haven't got any to hand. And let's just get on with it because we've only got 34 minutes on these files, and I've used up about 4 hours of them so far here. I just thought I'd talk a little bit. I better close that down now. I'll get back to where I was. Get back to where you once began. I think that came in at 5 words. You can't sue me for copyright on that. The Beatles like Star Wars. If you even think about them, you get a copyright notice come through saying you owe $10 or whatever. By the way, you think you can get a male deer from at this time of night? I don't know. Male deer? Young deer? Yeah. I was at the end of the joke before I even started it. Yeah, so what can I tell you about Any Last Words? Any Last Words is a book. It's 116 pages. So it's not the largest book of poetry that you will ever buy in your life. But it is the only one called Any Last Words by someone called Paul Murphy. But it's priced extremely cheaply and reasonably, and I mean, what can I say about it? There's some good stuff in there. If you'll forgive me for saying that, you know, if you know me by now, you know that as soon as I've written the song, I'm always distanced from it, and a lot of times, even before I get there. There's even got some poems in there as well. Would you mind awfully if I went off camera and wiped my nose, which is going to look like one of those hideous, insane body language things, you know, you've got all this stuff on, but I swear I've got the worst nose tickle in the world. My manager's here, so my manager's going to keep talking to you just a second. Hi, did you miss me? Oh, the thumbnail's gone, by the way. There you are. See, what I could have done was just kept it there, and then you'd need to go back to some of the other videos. You will do it now, won't you? Go back to some of the other videos. Look at his thumbnail. I mean, it was about the same size and shape as a canoe. You know, I mean, it walked into a room 5 minutes before I did. But it was getting more fan mail than I do. You know. So, ever seen All About Eve? Well, there. Poor Eve. Well, that's the Betty Davis line, isn't it? I mean, it just, you know, it got its own agent, you know, it was taking commissions, you know. And it left me a note one day saying, you know, I'm sorry, Paul, but my manager says you're holding me back, you know. I think he's got a residency in Vegas at the moment. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah, a book, haven't I? Yeah. So, Any Last Words? So, that's my 4th book in 5 weeks. Talk about, I think I've already said it, but, you know, talk about, you know, whipping a dead dog. I've got a safety camera up here as well, so if my eyes veer off, then I do apologise. The big major 1,000 quid 4K camera that I had, I've given to my son Dylan, and I hope that he will make his own videos when he grows up. He's like 10, it could have cost 10pence and he wouldn't have cared. Like, my nose is itching again, this is unreal here. I think I'm growing a beard inside my nostrils or something, you know. What was it, that Star Trek movie, The Wrath of Lee Strasberg School of Acting? I don't know where they put a bug inside his ear or something like that. Anyway. Well, I was in hospital, as you can see from all the hospital bands. I was in hospital again a few weeks ago, so the NHS up to date with the latest medical things. We've got a new cure for motor neurone disease, Mr. Murphy. You're going to put a leech up your left nostril. Will it work? We don't know. We just like seeing you scream. That was a very sly, surreptitious trying to beat the itch away there. Refresh me what I was talking about. I've got to get back to this book. Yeah, so Any Last Words? Yeah. Oh, yeah, so there's 10 new pieces. 10, 12, 13? 11 new pieces in it, written in the last 9 days. When did I write The Poet Has Left the Building? Friday today. I'm trying to buy something for my children's Christmas on Black Friday. It's just ridiculous. Oh, you don't want to know that story, but I mean, you know, how Jeff Bezos got to be the world's richest man, like, I have no idea. Having said that, love you, Jeff. Keep my books online. If you want to discount the price, you take the hit. My royalties are 42p a copy. Well, not my royalties. My children get all the royalties that are signed over to the children. I better get on with this, haven't I? Yeah, and then so it was going to be called Then and Now, actually. Well, there's a working title to it. I think it was always going to be called Any Last Words. It just came to be. in a flash one night when I was how about that? I can click my fingers now, slicing my head off. You know, what's that movie, Underworld? Is it? You know, where the guy Bill Nye gets sliced in two or something by the very gorgeous Kate Beckinsale. Reel the point of the story, and then I've dived back into my songbooks. You're fascinated by my nose now, aren't you? Stop it! My songbooks from... I'm looking in the wrong place again. I do apologise, I've got two cameras here. My eyes keep diverging between the two. Because one of them, the file changes at different times on them. I haven't had this many cameras on tripod since before the wife left. Oh dear. Thank God the alimony's all paid up. Oh, that's just a joke, that's not. That's not a true story. Yeah, so I dived back into my my old songbooks and everything, and because although I've got, I don't know how many poetry and lyric anthologies have I got at, 15 now, 16. You know, there's still over 1,000. There's over 1,000 songs, and not all of them are written down. A lot of them are ad-libbed. If you're following the YouTube videos, then you'll know I'll just make a song up on the spot, you know, or I'll take one. I'll be in the middle of doing one today. I was recording Too Many Rainy Days. I don't want to know the story on the Too Many Rainy Days video, but then it went down, and a song started coming to me while I was singing it. I just stopped and ad-libbed it, but then it got too painful, and so I cut it down, you know. There's enough of it there to make a song out of it. Anyway, come along, boy. Someone put some batteries in him and get him back to life here. Yeah, and it goes right back to 1980, which is a poem that's in there. I'll come to in a minute, maybe, if I ever get to finishing this first sentence. And the very first song I ever wrote as a song, first love song, kind of predates it, because, and that's in, have I got a copy of Love anywhere here? I have, yeah. First love song is in one of my best books, I would say. I mean, I've got a lot of stuff out there. I don't want to stop you buying them and stuff, but comedy-wise, well, I suppose the two of me Jade diaries, which are satires on family life, purportedly written by my young daughter. I always like the Extremely Unlikely History of the World books. And all the children's books I think are pretty good. But the poetry books, if you get Love, which is, it's a nice book because it's just a compilation of all the love, not all the love pieces there, but some, you know. It's a nice present to give to someone, you know, on Valentine's Day or something. If I say so myself, you know. If I hadn't written it, it was kind of, if I had a girlfriend, then, you know, on a serious note, it makes it a nice thing. But the first one, Songs Without Music, which was designed as a one-off, which is probably the combination of the cream of my work and stuff. There's other songs, you know, in the other books and everything. I mean, what could you do? You couldn't put End Move in there, you know. 73-minute long song. It's a book on its own. In Search of House Grand Reward. Wrap it up, boy, wrap it up. Yeah, and then some trenches through there. So I had to go through and pick out what I could. I don't have access to the handwritten lyrics, so if it wasn't on the files that I've got here, the copyright files that I was making before I got too ill to do it. Stop shutting them down. You're not even the light's just gone off there. Let's just focus on what's in there and what's not, and forget about what's not in there, or put it on a reverse. So it starts off, Avenues of Fate. Avenues of Fate. If they're on YouTube, I'll just say it's on YouTube, and if you want to know a bit more, you can go and listen to it, of course, you know. But nonetheless, you would still like to sit down and read the book with the lyrics in. Avenues of Fate came to me the other day. It is a song about sitting down and saying, you know, 10, 20 years later, and thinking back to that girl or that boy, and literally saying, well, you know, I'm in this, but what if I had married them, you know, made my life for them, or if we just stayed together a little bit longer, how would it have gone and everything. I do have a guitar here. I didn't know if I was going to lapse into any of them. That one exists, but I don't know if I should do it, really, man. What would have happened if I'd married you? That's the original music too. I took the G out, of course, or reprogrammed the G. Should I give secrets away? Yeah, I suppose it matters the state I'm in. I'm sorry, subconsciously looking at how little body I've got left. Yeah, so that was. There was a lady that I was involved with in 2000. I only know by the song copyright dates, you know. Dates are all hazy in my head, you know. A lot of things are hazy in my head. I have no idea who I am. Oh, no. Yeah. And she came across my mind during the last week. And every now and again, you know, a memory will pull up at the back door of my mind and peek in the window, you know, and I'll catch a glimpse of it and I'll think on. So that's what that song is about. But it could also have been about, you know, another couple of ladies. It did occur to me, even as I was writing it, and maybe this will go your way as well, if you have those sorts, because it certainly struck a nerve with a lot of people on the internet. But for myself, because I didn't want to be a bit of a downer about things, you know, so, oh, well, you know. But my children came along with another lady 10 years later. And I'm chuckling because I remember Dylan speaking to the lady that I'm thinking about now. You know, I wrote a song about, oh, what the heck, hi Ruhila, how you doing, darling? And again, I was at the garden and I said, Dylan was like this big. I said, did you say hello to the nice lady? He went, hello, nice lady. And she was on the other one. And she went, oh, he's adorable. And you are right, he is. That's what it says in the song. Thinking about children we would have had, I see them dressed in laughter and love. Next one, Beyond the Borderline of the Past. Well, yeah, again, that's on YouTube, not as a song. It's too long for me to put any music on in the condition I'm in now. There's a great singer-songwriter in America, his name's Bill Johnson, and he read or listened to one of my videos on the internet. I can only assume was an act of self-immolation, because it was, I think it was Dust and Sand, which goes on for, I don't know, 25 minutes or 6 days or something or another. A nice piece of work, though, I said myself, from the distance of, you know. That's one of the Dark Christ songs, actually. It's on one of my Dark Christ albums. And I was thinking about editing the song down, and I woke up and this message said something like that, you know, don't edit the song down, you know, it's fine as it is, you know, which is a good, really good, accurate point, you know. Not everyone on the internet just looks at, says, okay, anything over a minute I'm not going to watch, you know, because my life is bam, 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 you know. Some people just want to sit down and listen to it. And a lot of my stuff is mantra-like. If you listen to Lady Helen, I mean, it's almost like a mantra, you know, that string arrangement I put on it. But let's not talk about that, because I think we're like 10 minutes in now. I always was a long stayer. Because again, I forget what I was doing halfway through. What was I on about, love? Focus, man. Okay, right, yeah. So I was going to write a song that morning, and I just wanted something new and it was just going to be one page, and I thought I'd just write a one-page song, pin the lyrics up, and just sing it, you know. And it came out, and I got to the third verse, and I thought, okay, let's put a chorus in on this now, you know. If you put chorus in on a 3-verse song, you immediately got a 5-verse song, you know. Now, I do not normally do choruses. Chori? I don't know. And because my stuff is narrative based, you know. And I've said before in a couple of videos, but whenever bandmates, well, what's the chorus? Well, there is no chorus. Well, you can have a chorus, but it's a story, you know. It's a narrative piece of work. And as I always say, if you're reading War and Peace, you know, you don't get to chapter 2 and then go back and read pages 15 to 21, and then get to the end of chapter 3 and go back and read pages 15 to 21 again. That's not denigrating anyone that does. Some people just write choruses. They don't write songs, they just write choruses. And nothing wrong at all in that. So I just let the song come out. I didn't stop at that, and it just went on and on and on and on. And it's a little mini movie. It's kind of a film noir kind of thing. As I say in the essay at the back of the book, I can see Richard Widmark playing one of the guys in it. You know, the great Richard Widmark. The Last Wagon. Catherine Graham, 1975, 76. You remember when we saw The Last Wagon? What would you have been? 14, and I'd been 15, I guess. We didn't watch it together. We went to school the next day. Did you see this movie on Sunday? Yesterday, Sunday afternoon movies. Westerns on Sunday afternoon back in those dim and distant times. We were very impressed by that movie. I'd check it out if you want to. I mean, I was already suffering a lot of racism back then in any case. You didn't want to grow up in Chard in the mid-60s with an Irish surname, let alone an Irish accent. So that's Beyond the Borderline of the Past, a film noir little mini movie. We're going to give them hell? Well, okay. That seems to be quite notorious on the internet due to some spirited renditions of it by myself. It seemed to be, I won't say I took exception to the comment about, but it was because I uploaded one video of myself reading one of my children's books. It's over my right shoulder. And then I uploaded a video of me singing We're Gonna Give Them Hell. We're gonna give them hell every night and day. Gonna give them hell. But of course they're different things, you know, they're different, you know, because you're assuming the character. We'll give them hell as a song, basically, about child abuse. And if that doesn't upset you and make you angry, then, what can I say? Anything I could say to you would just be, I would just be, you know, talking to this guitar here instead of listening to it. So, but, I mean, could you imagine me reading one of the Emily and Bill books in the same voice that I sing some of the angry songs in? You know, Emily and Bill are flying on their magic carpets today. And, okay, all your cats and pets can come out from behind the curtains now, you know. You assume the persona, you know. Orson Welles didn't play Othello on stage and then go home and gouge his eyes out, you know. Orson Welles came up with a great quote. And he said, my doctor has told me I've got to stop hosting dinner parties for 4 unless there are 3 other people there. We're going to give them hell. So that's it's an angry little song about getting back all kinds of bullies. It's, you know, as ever, I've genericked it up, you know, and made it wider ranging, you know. If only, I can't talk about that. No, I can't, I'm sorry. I tried to shout above the rain. Again, all these first ones were on YouTube. I need to skip back to the old ones, really. I'm seeing all the time. It's running out here. Again, the aforementioned, I think his YouTube name is Some Guy with a Guitar, and it's some guitar as well. As I was saying to him yesterday, I think it was, he was saying he thought his voice was going a little bit down, but I said his voice, when it's a song on his YouTube channel, and it sounded to me like he was singing from from the top of a mountain to the bottom of his heart at the same time. If you drop the bowl in the Grand Canyon, the resonance, that's that kind of thing. My Old Man is a comedy song. I don't do too many comedy songs because I used to do stand-up acts, and people would often say, when you write comedy songs, have all these 3-hour-long tales of woe and stuff, There's probably some deep-seated psychological reason for it. I'm not going to examine it. But whenever people say, why don't you do comedy songs, I used to say, for the same reason in my stand-up act, I don't stand on stage and read obituaries, They're two different things. But that's a comedy. It's only a 3-verse one. It just breaks it up a little bit. Words is, again, it was just a kind of interlude. That's basically just a poem. I just had a piano tune in my head. That song for Guy by Elton John, where the piano tune and then the words just come in at the end. And so I was just wandering around the house with this piano tune. But my keyboards are all locked away now, because I can't play keyboards anymore. And then I just had this tune. I thought, shall I put music to it? And I thought, no, I'm going to put words to it. And I thought, no, I've got the tune now, which you'll never get to hear. I'm so sorry, guys. And then I thought, and I'll do the words at the end. And that's why it's called Words. There's always an angel. There's a truly amazing, intelligent, humorous. I have no idea what she looks like, but I imagine she's extraordinarily beautiful as well. Italian lady who lives in Switzerland. Her name is Eleanor. Hey, Eleanor. And I was thinking about her one morning recently, and it was a sound check or a vocal warm-up. Words came to me, and I said, and she said, well, you can do it properly. And I said, yeah, I'd like to do it. So I sat down and I did it properly. It's a parable. There's always an angel. It's a parable with a self-poignantizing ending. Then we go back into history. I don't think I'm going to smile ever again. It's the first song I ever wrote as a song. I do apologise if my eyes are not looking at you. I tell the story in the back of the book, and don't think I'm going to cover all of this pain. I just don't know why she felt the need to make me cry. But I don't think I'm going to smile ever do. So I was doing a Mickey taking voice, and I was singing a Lurch from the Addams Family. That's the first song I ever wrote actually as a song. I was living in a squat. I bumped into this. I was homeless. This was 82, and I bumped into someone I knew vaguely on the streets of Chard, and he said, "What you doing?" And I said, "Well, I'm living in a bus shelter in Wincham at the moment, tiny little village, walking 3 miles into town to get something to eat, living off of a loaf of bread every 2 days." He'd come back and stay at my place. We got back to his place, and I said, "That's that big flat." It was a flat, 6 flats in this huge Victorian building in Chard called Chester House. Do you want to know something spooky? I was in flat 3 in Chester House in this squat in 1982. I've got to stop pointing because my wrists are so thin. I look a bit freakish there. I'm so sorry. And the lady I was talking about, Avenues of Fate, some 30 odd years later, we were having a conversation on the telephone, and she said she'd set up this business, because she's one of the country's leading ophthalmists. Ophthalmists. Through the mists of time, I met an optometrist. Anyway, I'm using up all the tape, just saying. I'm at 30 minutes now. Okay. This is going to run to 2 films, and you know what? I'll just leave the camera running. So at some point in the next 4 minutes, this would just go like that. And then when you start the next one, please come back and start the next one. It'll start from there. And her business address was at Flat 3, Chester House. I think it was somewhere in London here, it must have been. I mean, how spooky is that, you know? Absolutely. So spooky. There's another verse for Avenues of Fate in there somewhere. Oh yeah, so Holly had some problem. He didn't tell me that it was a squat, and we shouldn't answer the door to anyone. And all the windows. Oh man, they were just raiding the place all the time. Wow. They were just crazy. I'll tell you a true story. I swear this is true. I haven't told this story in a few years, but this is really true, right? Okay. So, puts guitar down. Right, so Chester House. I should just say up front, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't take anything I shouldn't. I've been a vegetarian for 40 years next month, if I make it. And until I got struck down by this hideous disease, actually. Point being, you know, I've lived a pretty clean life, like, you know. And so all the goings on in that flat, because there was a lot of deals going on there. There was a dealer upstairs and everything. But anyway, so, but the even as I'm telling you this, it feels like I'm lying, but there's a, you know, like one of my surreal stories from my comedies. But anyway, so can I mention? I'll just shorten the name. So Ben, he, in addition to the stuff he was selling, he was also trying to sell his motorbike. And in those days, no internet, you had to advertise in the paper, and it came out, you know, once a week. But everyone knew what was going on in this house, because back in the early 80s, you know, there's no internet banking. You got a wage packet, you know, in your hand on a Friday afternoon and stuff, and you know, and then you take £10 out of it and go home and tell the wife that you only took home, you know, however much it was. Like, sorry dear, I've got to skip on the housekeeping. Anyway, so what would happen is everyone in charge would get their pay packets on a Friday, and then they would clock off work early on Friday dinner time, and then they would drive on down to Chester House to get, you know, whatever it was, you know, their happy snack that was going to last them the weekend and everything. Some very respectable people queuing up there as well, really. I mean, you know, in my mind now, I'm going off a surreal tangent, but, you know, like Aeroplane, you know, that movie Airplane, you know, where they're all in a queue there, you know. So you'd have this, you know, crowd of people there trailing back miles, you know, waiting to go in. So I guess the boys in blue, and some of them, the boys in bloomers, I thought, oh, well, we know where to go to get our most opportune moment. So the point of the story is, so, and the Jottings, the newspaper, I think it came out on a Thursday or something, and you've got the adverts on a Friday or something like that. So the police had decided to raid this place, you know, and put an end to it or whatever, you know. And so they turned up to raid it. You were ahead of me, aren't you? But this guy had turned up from Taunton, just about 40 miles away, I guess. And he'd driven there to see, to see Bennett to buy his motorbike off of him. But this took place at exactly the time that the boys in blue decided to smash the doors down. Why? We never understood, because the doors weren't locked, you know. Just walk in, you know. I think they had to, you know, I think they walked in, you know, locked the doors from the inside, climbed out the windows just so they could go in and smash the door in. So this guy's standing there, like, you know, and so they all go in, and who are you? And oh, you know, whatever his name was, you know, my name's Dave. Because this poor guy, he's got like 500 quid in his back pocket. Like, I'm here to buy a motorbike. Yeah, likely story, son. They took him into one of the flats and strip searched him. You know, out come the rubber gloves and everything like that. You know, I'm assuming I wasn't there at the time, and I was away for the weekend in Bath, and. But the bit I liked was he came back the next week because he still wanted the motorcycle, and he was regaling with his tale, and the bit he said, "Well, that's never happened to me before." And I thought, just how freaking unlucky would you have had to be? But that would have been the second time that happened in your life. Oh man. Right. Okay, right. Where are we getting to here now? So, oh yeah, Holly. He told me later when he came out of prison that I found this mushroom in a field, Paul. It was huge, the size of a football, and I took it, and everything was good. Yeah. I mean, you know, he was so off of it all the time. It might not be, he could have just eaten a cow pat or something, you know, he wouldn't have known, like, you know. Or a couple of picnickers. And, or a mole. I'm going off tangent here, aren't I? Anyway, so, he loved Jimi Hendrix. I hadn't heard Hendrix apart from All Along the Watchtower and Hey Joe until that point. He had, I don't know, smash hits or greatest hits or something. He used to play Manic Depression. Time after time after time. I mean, we all had manic depression just from listening to it. Frustrating mess, yeah, it sure was. Anyway, so he started a relationship with this mushroom late in 1982. He went into a supermarket, and apparently they had a special offer on. He told me that if you bought a television, you got a free 5 litre or something of cooking oil. Thinking about it, doesn't seem to compute because no one bought televisions back then. You know, there wasn't the money, and you know they broke down. You know, I mean, if you just looked at them without turning them on, they broke down. You know, and